Okay, so um, we're diving into agents today. And wow, this documentation from Adala docs you sent over is pretty fascinating stuff.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
It's like they took the idea of a personal assistant and gave it like superpowers with some AI magic or something.
Yeah, you can kind of think about it like that. So what we're looking at here is basically a way to build customizable agents that can like interact with their environment.
Okay.
They can use all these different skills, and they can even like learn and adapt over time, which is pretty amazing.
So not just like following a set of pre-programmed instructions, but like
Mm.
actually evolving and getting smarter as they go.
Exactly.
That's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. But before we get too carried away with all the
Yeah.
possibilities, let's take a step back. What is an agent? Like, how do the docs define it?
So, at its core, an agent is like this customizable entity, and it's got a few key attributes. It operates within a specific environment, uses a variety of skills to perform tasks, runs on specific runtimes, and even has a memory to store and recall information.
Okay, so it's not just like a static program. It's like an active entity, like interacting with its surroundings,
Right.
learning from its experiences. It's almost like a digital version of us in a way.
You could say that, yeah, and those skills you mentioned, those are what really give agents their power and flexibility.
Yeah.
The agent class has a whole bunch of different methods that control its actions.
Right.
For example, there's on or run. Those kind of set the agent into motion and initiate its tasks.
So that's like hitting the go button on our super-powered AI assistant.
Exactly. And then you've got other methods like learn and our find skill,
Okay.
which really highlight the agent's ability to learn from its experiences and constantly refine its skills.
Hold on, let me get this straight. We're talking about an agent that not only performs tasks, but actually gets better at them over time. Like it figures out on its own what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. And it even has a method called select skill to train, which basically lets the agent analyze its own performance and determine which skills need a boost.
That's incredible. It's like the agent has its own internal performance review system, constantly looking for ways to improve itself. Did the docs give us any concrete examples of this in action?
Yeah, they do. They have one simple example that uses a static environment, which just gives a fixed data set, and a transform skill, which modifies data within that environment. It's a basic illustration of how an agent can interact with its surroundings and make changes.
Okay, so the static environment is like a sandbox for the agent to play in, and the transform skill is the tool it uses to like shape the data in that sandbox.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, a very apt analogy. So now let's dive into some of the individual components that make up these agents, starting with environments.
Sounds good. Let's unpack this further.
All right, so environments are like the backbone of the agent's world. They provide the data, the context, and the feedback the agent needs to learn and adapt. Think of it as the agent's source of information about the world that it operates in.
So going back to our personal assistant example, the environment would be like the real world that the assistant interacts with, providing it with tasks and information.
Exactly. And within that environment, you have this key method called get accuracy. And this is how the environment actually evaluates the agent's performance,
Okay.
giving it feedback that fuels the learning process.
Ah, so that ties back to the select skill to train method we talked about earlier.
Right.
The agent uses the accuracy feedback from the environment to figure out which skills need improvement. It's all starting to connect now.
Exactly. And now let's move on to another fascinating component, memories.
This is where things get really interesting. Imagine an agent that could actually remember your preferences, your past interactions, and use that to get better over time.
Yeah.
That's like next level personalization right there.
Huh. Absolutely. The retrieve function in the memory component lets the agent tap into those past experiences
Okay.
and use that information to make smarter decisions and provide more tailored responses.
It's like the agent is building its own personal knowledge base, a history of everything it's learned and encountered. That opens up so many possibilities.
Yeah, it really does. And speaking of possibilities, let's move on to skills,
Yeah.
which are essentially the tools that give agents their unique abilities and allow them to perform specific tasks.
So from what I've seen, there are different types of skills, right?
Mhm.
Like analysis skill, synthesis skill, and transform skill.
Right.
Each one seems to have a very specific purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
These different skills determine the types of tasks that an agent can actually handle.
Yeah.
Analysis skill is all about extracting insights from data.
Okay.
Synthesis skill focuses on generating new data based on inputs.
Got it.
And transform skill is all about modifying existing data.
So it's like having a specialized toolbox for the agent, with each skill representing a different tool for a specific job. Are there any skills that are particularly noteworthy or powerful?
Um, I'd say transform skill is particularly interesting. It uses these methods called apply and apply to directly modify data within the environment. Think of it as the agent's way of interacting with and changing its surroundings.
Okay, so if transform skill is like the agent's hands, allowing it to manipulate the data in its environment,
Right.
then what about these improve and improve methods I see mentioned?
Those are designed to refine the agent's techniques and improve its performance over time.
Oh, wow. So it's like giving our AI assistant a personal trainer for its skills. This whole system is incredibly intricate and well designed. What about linear skill set and parallel skill set?
hmm
I'm guessing those have something to do with how the agent organizes and uses its skills.
You got linear skill set basically defines a specific sequence of skills, so it creates a step-by-step process for the agent to follow.
Like a recipe that the agent follows to achieve a specific goal. So what about parallel skill set?
Parallel skill set lets the agent develop and use multiple skills at the same time,
Okay.
making it really good at handling tasks that require a diverse set of capabilities. It's like having a team of experts all working together within a single agent.
Now that's impressive. It's like the agent can multitask like a pro, handling different aspects of a problem simultaneously. But let's zoom out for a second and talk about the bigger picture. How can we actually apply these agents in the real world? Like what kind of problems can they solve?
The possibilities are pretty much endless and really exciting when you think about it.
Yeah.
In the business world, imagine agents that can automate all those repetitive tasks you have to do, analyze market trends to find new opportunities, and even personalize customer service interactions to give people more tailored support.
It's like having an army of tireless AI assistants working behind the scenes 24/7 to streamline operations and improve efficiency.
Exactly, and the best part is that these agents can be adapted to tons of different industries and tasks.
Right.
In education, we could see agents totally revolutionize personalized learning,
Okay.
creating adaptive tutoring systems that cater to each student's individual needs.
So it's like a truly customized learning experience for every student, like their own personal tutor that guides them through the material at their own pace and in a way that makes sense to them.
Yeah, exactly. And then in healthcare, imagine agents that can assist doctors with diagnoses,
Wow.
analyzing medical images, and recommending personalized treatment plans based on a patient's unique medical history.
That could revolutionize healthcare, making it more accurate, more efficient, and more patient-centered. It's amazing to think about the potential impact.
It really is, and this adaptability goes even further. We could see these agents used in finance, manufacturing, even creative industries.
Wow.
They could help with everything from data analysis to content creation.
It's mind-blowing when you consider all the possibilities. But let's get a little more practical for a moment. How are these agents actually implemented in real-world settings?
The Adala docs give some pretty detailed guidance on how to initialize and configure these agents, set up their environment skills, and runtimes.
Okay.
It's all about giving the agent its initial set of instructions and the tools it needs to get started.
So like setting the stage for our AI assistant to go out and shine.
Precisely. And a really important part of implementation is something called validators. These are like built-in checks
Okay.
that make sure you're setting things up correctly and avoiding potential errors. It's a safety net that helps guarantee your agent is set up for success.
That's reassuring to know.
Yeah.
It's like having a quality control system in place.
Yeah.
But what about the future? Where do you see this agent technology heading in the coming years?
Oh, the future's just full of possibilities. We're going to see even more sophisticated learning algorithms, allowing agents to learn and adapt even faster than they do now. We'll probably see them integrated with all sorts of new data sources and technologies, expanding their capabilities even further.
What?
And maybe most exciting of all, we might even see agents becoming more creative.
More creative.
Yeah, like capable of generating their own novel ideas and solutions.
So it's like the line between human intelligence and artificial intelligence is starting to blur.
In some ways, yeah, and this brings up some important things to consider. As these agents become smarter and more integrated into our lives, we need to be careful.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that they are developed and deployed ethically with a focus on human well-being.
That's a really crucial point.
Hmm.
As we give these AI assistants more and more power, we need to be responsible.
Exactly.
You need to make sure that they remain tools that benefit humanity and don't accidentally create unintended consequences.
Right. Responsible development and a thoughtful approach are essential as we move into this exciting new era of intelligent agents. But we've covered a lot of ground already in this first part of our deep dive.
Yeah, we have.
There's still so much more to explore.
We've laid the foundation. We understand what agents are, how they work, and the incredible potential they hold. But now I'm really curious to dig into some specific use cases.
Yeah.
I want to see real-world examples of how these agents are transforming businesses, industries, and our daily lives.
Let's do it in the next part of our deep dive. We'll look at how organizations are using agents to achieve some pretty remarkable results, from streamlining their operations to creating entirely new business models.
Sounds good. I'm ready to see these AI assistants in action.
So you're ready to see these agents in action, huh? Well, let's start with a scenario that a lot of businesses face every day, handling a huge amount of customer support inquiries.
Ah, yeah, the dreaded customer support queue. A total black hole of time and resources.
Exactly. Now imagine an agent that's been trained to analyze those incoming inquiries, categorize them by urgency and topic, and even provide initial responses or solutions.
Okay, so instead of a human having to dig through a mountain of emails and chats, you've got an AI assistant doing all the heavy lifting.
Right. This frees up your human agents to focus on the really complex or sensitive issues,
Makes sense.
while the AI assistant makes sure every customer gets a response quickly.
So it's a win-win for both the business and the customer. Faster response times, happier customers, and a more efficient use of resources.
Exactly. And you can take this type of agent even further and customize it to provide personalized support based on a customer's history and preferences. It's like having a dedicated assistant for each customer so they always feel valued and understood.
Now, that's impressive. It's like taking customer service to a whole new level. But what about industries that are heavily data-driven, like finance or insurance? Can agents make a difference there?
Absolutely. Accuracy and insights are key in those industries. Imagine an agent that can analyze market trends, assess risk profiles, and even detect fraudulent activity, all with incredible speed and precision. It's like having an entire team of expert analysts constantly working behind the scenes.
So we're talking about an AI assistant that can crunch numbers, spot patterns, and identify potential opportunities or threats that humans might miss.
Exactly. And the beauty is that these agents can constantly learn and improve their models as they get more data. They become more accurate, more insightful, and ultimately more valuable to the organization over time.
It sounds like a complete game changer, enabling these industries to make smarter decisions and stay ahead of the competition.
It is, and it's not just about number crunching either. These agents can help with other things too, like automating those complicated financial processes, generating reports, and providing personalized financial advice based on an individual client's needs.
Wow, they really can do it all. It's incredible how versatile these agents are. But let's not forget about fields like healthcare and education. They're ripe for disruption too. We talked about them briefly earlier, but I'm curious to hear more about specific examples of how agents are being used in those areas.
Sure. In healthcare, imagine an agent that analyzes medical images like X-rays or CT scans to help radiologists spot potential problems. It's like having another set of eyes, but with the ability to process huge amounts of data and see patterns that human doctors might miss.
So we could be talking about earlier and more accurate diagnoses, which obviously leads to better outcomes for patients.
Exactly, and it goes beyond just that. Agents can also analyze patient records and medical research to spot potential drug interactions, personalized treatment plans, and even monitor patients remotely.
It's like having a dedicated medical assistant for every patient, making sure they're getting the absolute best care possible.
Right, and in education, think about an agent that creates personalized learning plans for each student, adapting to their own individual learning styles and pace. It's like having a custom-made tutor for every single student.
It sounds like the future of education, where learning is tailored to the individual rather than a one-size-fits-all approach.
That's the idea, and those are just a few examples. The possibilities for agent technology are pretty much limitless. We're only restricted by our own imagination and our ability to develop and use them ethically.
Speaking of ethical development, it's something that I've been thinking about a lot during this whole conversation. As we create these super powerful AI assistants, how do we make sure they're used for good and for the benefit of humanity?
That's a really important question. Like with any new powerful technology, there's always a chance for misuse or things happening that we don't expect.
Right, so how do we navigate that and ensure that these agents are tools that help us and don't become something we should be afraid of?
It all starts with a commitment to ethical principles and guidelines from the very beginning when we're developing and using these agents.
Okay.
We have to watch out for biases in the data that's used to train them, and we need to design them to promote fairness and equality.
So it's not just about what they can do technically, but also making sure that they align with our values as humans and help create a better society for everyone.
Exactly. We need to be transparent about how these agents work and how they make decisions so that people understand their limitations and can make informed choices about using them.
Transparency and accountability, those are key. It builds trust and helps to ensure responsible use of this technology.
Mm.
But let's switch gears a bit. We've talked about the benefits and ethical considerations of agents, but what about the challenges? Are there any hurdles that organizations might face when they actually try to implement these AI assistants?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is the initial investment. Developing and deploying these agents can be pretty expensive. It takes specialized expertise in things like AI, machine learning, and data science.
So it's not as easy as just buying a piece of software off the shelf and plugging it
It
in.
usually involves a lot of customization and fine-tuning to meet the specific needs of the organization and the tasks they want to automate or improve.
That makes sense. But what about maintenance and updates? Are
Yeah.
these agents self-sufficient or do they need constant attention?
While agents are built to adapt and learn over time, they do need regular monitoring and maintenance to make sure they're working as well as they can.
Huh?
This might mean retraining the agent with new data, refining its models, or even adding new skills as things change.
So it's an ongoing commitment, not just a one-time setup.
Right. It's really important to have a team in place that can handle this process effectively. That way, the agent keeps delivering value and adapts to new situations.
It sounds like organizations need to be ready for the long haul if they really want to benefit from this agent technology.
Yeah, they do. But for those that are ready to commit, the potential rewards are huge. Agents can really boost efficiency innovation, and in the end, give them a big advantage in today's fast-paced business world.
This has been such an insightful journey so far. We've explored how agents can be used in different industries, looked at the ethical side of things, and even talked about the challenges organizations might run into.
It's been a really good overview. We've covered a lot, but there's still one important thing we haven't really talked about, the future of agent technology. What new advancements can we expect, and how might these AI assistants keep evolving and shaping the world?
That's a perfect lead into the final part of our deep dive. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on what the future holds for these amazing AI assistants and how they might change the way we live, work, and interact with the world around us.
Okay, so we've talked about the incredible potential of agents in all kinds of fields, the ethical stuff, and even the challenges organizations might face when using them. Now, let's look ahead. What advancements can we expect? How will these AI assistants shape our world?
That's the big question, isn't it? The future of agent tech is like this wide open field of possibilities.
Mm,
One really exciting area is in learning algorithms.
okay.
We're going to see some super sophisticated techniques that will let agents learn and adapt crazy fast.
Even faster than they already do. What would that look like?
Imagine agents that can process info in real time.
Wow.
They could instantly adjust their strategies and responses based on new data or changes in the situation.
Yeah.
It's about going beyond those pre-programmed responses and getting to a point where they can learn dynamically like how humans think. That's mind-blowing. It's like having an AI assistant that's constantly getting smarter, always a step ahead.
Right, and this learning ability will get even stronger as agents are integrated with new data sources and technologies. We're talking about agents that can access all the information online,
Okay.
constantly growing their knowledge base and becoming even more insightful and capable.
It's like giving these AI assistants access to the world's biggest library.
Exactly. As they get smarter and more connected, we'll see a shift toward agents working together. Imagine teams of agents, each one an expert in a specific area coming together to tackle super complex problems.
So instead of one AI assistant, we might have a whole team of specialized assistants working together.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
it'd be like an AI symphony,
Okay.
each instrument playing its part to create a harmonious solution.
I like that analogy. It really helps to picture how they'd work together. What other advancements can we expect?
One area that's getting a lot of attention is agents with enhanced creativity. Imagine agents that can compose music, write stories, even design products.
So AI assistants that could be creative like humans and come up with new ideas.
Yeah, and while we're still figuring out if machines can be truly creative, there's no doubt that they can generate some interesting and valuable stuff.
It's an exciting thought. It makes you wonder about what creativity really is and how humans and AI might work together to create things. What else?
As agents evolve, we can expect them to become more integrated into our everyday lives, interacting with our devices, homes, even our
This
bodies.
interacting with our bodies, what does that mean?
Think about agents that could keep track of your health in real time, give you personalized advice, and even help out in emergencies. It's a future where AI assistants aren't just tools, but a part of our well-being.
That's fascinating and a bit scary.
Hmm.
What about privacy and our freedom to make our own choices?
You're right, it's not a future without challenges or ethical questions. But it's a future worth exploring carefully and responsibly.
I agree. As we enter this new territory, it's important to remember what's important for humans and make sure that's our priority.
Absolutely. The future of agent technology depends on the decisions we make today. We have to make sure these AI assistants help us improve our lives and make the world better.
This deep dive has been an incredible journey. It's like a sneak peek into a future where AI assistants are everywhere. We've looked at how these agents work their potential and the ethical things we need to consider as we develop them.
It's been great exploring this with you. I hope you have a better understanding of these amazing things and the impact they'll have on our world.
I definitely do. And I think the most important thing is that we've highlighted how crucial responsible development is and why we need to keep talking about AI's role in society.
Couldn't agree more. As agent technology gets more advanced, we need to stay informed, have those tough conversations, and work together to shape a future where AI benefits everyone.
Well said. I think that wraps up our deep dive. But this isn't the end of the conversation about agents. It's a topic that will keep evolving and challenging us for years to come.
Definitely. Let's embrace the possibilities, but also be cautious, making sure we use the power of AI to make things better for all of us.
And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of agents. We hope you learned something, found it interesting, and maybe even feel inspired. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep imagining what's possible.